So I have panelist LaserDude 909.
Actually, I got rid of the 99. It's just LaserDude now.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Yes, with me here, we're at Bud Miller Park, Lloydminster. We're here to talk about movies, theoretical and astronomical, and just
theoretical movies that didn't actually exist?
No, the theory of movies and what they mean to us. So
astronomical movies, astronomy, so science fiction.
Yes. So question one, when someone says to you, "Let's watch a movie," what's the first thing that you feel in the moment?
The first thing, I honestly, it has to be, I guess my thought is, what movie? Because, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that most people don't actually love movies. Most people like movies. They just like them a little bit, and so for me, I'm just like, okay, as long as it's something good, because I don't want to sit through a crap.
So would you say it's your first thing is skeptical doubt before the excitement for possibility?
I guess it depends on who's saying it. You know, it's like, if it's my sister Deanna says, "Oh, let's watch a movie," I'm like, okay, she's gonna try to get us to watch Babar again. But you know, if it's like someone like you usually have a good, if it's somebody I can trust with their opinion on the subject. So depending on the person and depending on what the movie could be, I could be either excited or eye rolling and trying to figure out if we could watch something else. But I'm usually excited to watch a movie that I haven't seen. I usually don't try to be a downer going in.
Question two. How much of a film do you remember during the first viewing?
Well, since I'm an amateur movie reviewer, I tend to try to analyze a movie a lot more than most people would, so I tend to try to remember everything I can about a movie. First viewing, it really depends. Like, I remember more if the movie is really good or really bad. Mediocre movies are so hard to remember. Like, a couple weeks ago, I saw a movie, Going Out of Style, or Going Out in Style. See, I don't even remember the title of that, and it's so...
I believe it was Going in Style?
Yeah, either way, it was so boring and just, but not bad, you know, it was so mediocre across the board, I don't remember any of it. But you bring up a movie that I hate, like, oh, The Happening, Lady in the Water.
Thinking about it this way, right, like, I see things, like, for example, here's a movie that not too many people consider as a great comedy, but it was trying to be a comedy action movie. It was called Tower Heist. Ben Stiller was in it. That movie, I still remember, if you can believe it or not. I still do remember scenes out of that movie, whether it be when he's bashing the crap out of the car, or when they have to pull off this heist with the car. I remember just figments of that. But another example for a movie like that wasn't very good, Premium Rush. There is a scene in there that I will never forget because the way it felt to me when I was watching it. But we're getting a little off subject here. That movie had a scene that really was like, you felt like you're going back in time and you were going to China within New York City. So it was really weird how that... Anyways, I'll get to the next question. Well, just answering this one really quick. So it's like the first viewing I find for myself is I view it, but the second viewing, if it's a good movie,
That's when you really go into the details?
Well, something clicks where I'd be like, oh, I forgot about this. Takes you through the highs and lows. You remember kind of like the climax, I find.
I think the first viewing...
And you forget about the middle most of the time.
First viewings are and second viewings are different because for the first viewing, you're just seeing the movie for what it is, what they're presenting it for you. On your second viewing, you can see more from the beginning to end. Since you know what the end is, you can see what the beginning is setting up. Like, watching a movie like, for example, Memento the first time and second time are completely different viewings. You know, the first time you're so sucked into the story and you think it's one thing, and then by the time it ends, you know it's something else. So the second time, you're looking for the something else.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable is it? Yeah, it's another movie where
you're cheering for. You're cheering when Samuel L. Jackson falls down the steps at least time.
On the second time, you're like, you deserve it. push them a few times.
What makes a great movie?
I think a lot of it these days is uniqueness, trying to be as unique as possible, because we've had so many years of movie making that a lot of stuff has been done. You know, that's why, like, when I saw that Adam Sandler movie, Blended, I hated it not because it was so awful. Like, if it came out during the 90s, I probably would have felt it fine. I hated it for how much it was just like the 90s film, how nothing has changed. He's doing the exact same shtick and nothing has changed. For nowadays, to be a good movie, you need to come across and do something new. It's presenting them in new ways, presenting characters in a new way. And I think that's the thing that I think really is good. It's what makes a good movie is, I think, three main things. Number one is world building. I need to get sucked into your world. Even the second thing I think that makes a good movie is characters. Characters are, I think, the most important thing, because if you don't have good characters, then you don't have good. Then why am I watching? You know, what reason do I have to continue on with this movie if I don't like your characters? And you can make a character not likable but interesting. You know, like Nightcrawler. No, I said the movie Nightcrawler.
Yeah, his character's Lewis.
Yes, but you know, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
The character, he's an awful person, an awful character in a movie, but I'm interested in watching him for what he goes through and how his journey is. You know, you can make a character unlikable, but you got to make them interesting. You got to have somebody be able to invest time and want to see what the character is going through.
Okay, what matters more to you? If it impacts you personally, or if the film story is executed brilliantly? That's a really interesting question, because it's just like, you got some movies that are like brilliant spectacles, but I really don't care for. Like 2001: A Space Odyssey is a marvel of filmmaking, but it's so boring. Was it executed brilliantly? I would have to say not.
2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was, because
you think so?
Because it sets out to what it's trying to do. You know,
is it?
It's trying to. It's not being a regular movie. It's trying to be what I call it movie poetry. You know, it's not trying to invoke a feeling in us through a storyline like most movies.
Right.
It's trying to be like when people are going through the Stargate, people who like these type of things are like, what does this mean? What does this make me feel? Where I'm like, what's happening? You know, like, I'm wanting the details of the story, but that doesn't make it bad, because it's telling the story in a different way than I am used to and that I enjoy personally. I think movies are like any medium. You know, you got like art. You know, you have these people that do these art things that are, in my mind, are just like blotches on a wall, and everyone's like, oh, look at the masterpiece, the curve of the brush, and I'm like, it's just let me
give you a better example. Okay, so you have two movies here. You have a movie called The Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was executed, I would have to say, brilliantly.
Yes.
Okay, from beginning to end, right?
Perfect.
And that's how it kind of was filmed and written and edited. It's all executed brilliantly.
Yeah.
Then you have a movie like Good Morning Vietnam, where you have actually done kind of what he does in some sense. You've been a radio...
On the radio, yeah. In a lot of ways, sure, I might have some experience in broadcasting,
right,
but that doesn't necessarily... Like, I think that a personal experience doesn't necessarily mean anything, or like...
Well, then
or what? Like, Clerks, about people who worked in a flipping a convenience store, would appeal to the most people because there's more people.
Okay, you're true. Okay, let me answer this question. For me personally, there's a movie that I love called Doubt. Now, for me personally, that has to do with my faith in some sense. Not that I have to associate myself with all the people or the characters, but it affected me personally because it brought in something that I believe as a person, and then it equipped it with how I feel on certain subjects in my belief.
Mm-hmm.
So that had to do with
But I think that goes towards favorite movie versus best movie. You know, like someone's favorite movie might not be the best movie ever made. It just is the movie that appeals to them on the most levels.
Next question. Do you think of a great film as a bottle of wine getting better with time, or do you think a great movie can be watched over and over and over and over again?
I think this is differentiating on people, because this is just, I know for you, if you rewatch movies over and over, you hate them, even if they're good. I mean,
but do you know why?
I still don't think you're going to ever watch The Princess Bride until like on your deathbed or something. But for me, I actually like revisiting and rewatching movies if it's good. I know that takes less of the mystery out, but I like analyzing a movie. For me, it's not. For you, I feel like it's more like the more you distance yourself from it, and the more you put yourself away from it, the more you can come back and like revisit it with new eyes again.
That's right.
For me,
that's how I do it. That's why I do it.
Which is why you wouldn't make a good critic. Well, because no, that's saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying because for me, I like to go back and dissect the movie, see all the inner workings, and see, oh, this is what this is symbolic for, and this is what this means, and this is setting up for this in another movie, and this is a parallel to Hamlet or whatever. This, I like to go back and dissect the movie and see all of its inner working, and which is why I think I like watching special features, because I like to see what's beneath the curtain. And I think that's why it's a different. For me personally, I like to rewatch and revisit movies.
So you have no regrets watching Sam Raimi's Spider-Man as many times as you did?
I don't remember watching Spider-Man a ton, but I do because I know that movie inside and out. No.
Yeah, over and over again. It's like a cycle. You're like a hamster.
And I get to. It makes me think, because the more I get to think about a movie, the more it intrigues me. If a movie doesn't intrigue me, then I'll just, watch it once and that's it. But the more I watch it, the more it intrigues me, and the more I get to dive in to try to get into these filmmakers' mindset. I mean, like, one of my favorite moments when we've ever been talking about movies is we were watching Terminator 2, and I had said, like, oh, this is symbolic of Sarah Connor becoming more like the machine, and the Terminator's becoming more human. She's becoming more like a Terminator. And you said, did you listen to the commentary? I'm like, no. I was like, because that's exactly what Jane Cameron said. I'm like, dang, like that was like, I'm like, cool, And that's what excites me.